Hey, I'm Doc over here at the Asylum Radio Network, and I'm joined by Matt Hall from Inner Outlines. How have you been, buddy? It's been a while.
Hey, been doing good, Doc. Just been getting my butt kicked this last week. A bunch of shifts over at work, but finally getting a day off to do this. Happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you, man. It's good to hear from you guys again. We've been looking forward to having you guys back on the show since your last show. So,
Hell yeah.
first and foremost, man, I got to congratulate you on your new single.
Thank you.
That
Thank you very much.
that is so cool. So, tell me a little bit about your single.
So,
Why?
that's,
What is a
s-
WYEBM? Is that?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what I've been telling the guys. I'm like, the title of the song is WYEBM, but it stands for Would You Even Believe Me? Also been telling the guys you could pronounce it WYEBM if you want to. Like, I
We.
think that's a pretty good title.
Hey, yeah, hey, I could go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I say, but
YEBYEBM is a little bit of a mouthful,
yeah,
but
Weebum,
Weebum is better. Love it.
absolutely.
From henceforth, it'll be known as Weebum.
Cool. I say, let's coin that. Get my guys on that.
Right? And we'll market it across the world.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about the single, man. Where did the concept come from?
So, Would You Even Believe Me? That's the song title. And of course, it's the hook, it's the chorus, it's all of it. And a lot of it comes from kind of like a place of feeling like you don't necessarily feel as though what you're saying or contributing to anything really like holds any weight to anyone other than yourself. So I personally have dealt with that a lot in my life and stuff. Of course, being an artist and stuff like that, like sometimes you just wonder about the validity of your expression and stuff. So like this song was really interesting because it was like out of all these other singles that we've been releasing, this is the third single we've put out, but it's actually the first one that we went to record for this new process. And it came really easily, funny enough. Like it was just one of those topics that I had been dealing with mentally by myself as the song's being written and stuff. And we got the "Would you even believe me?" and like it took off from there. Like, I think one of my favorite parts about it is that it touches on some serious topics for me, and, like, I even translate it to, like I said, almost the validity of, like, men's mental health and that kinda stuff.
So it's a very deep track. I'll tell you that one. It's one probably that out of the ones that I've listened to from you guys, it's probably one that I personally connect with more. Uh, just I actually read beforehand what the song was about, and when I listened to it, I've struggled with that myself. Especially when I was wanting to go into radio. I would constantly ask myself, you know, would anybody really care about what I have to say? Would anybody,
Mhm.
would anything that I would have to say on the radio really hold any weight to anybody else? Would they really even care? Would they even listen to begin with? So this
Right.
one, in and of itself, I connect with this one a lot more.
I say I'm glad that's the whole goal really is, like, just, connecting through the music and being able to, like, meet people who have, like, similar thoughts, similar mindsets and stuff, and, like, it really becomes, like, a big collective. The response to the song was insane. It broke all our records that we've had in the band. Like, I think we hit right on about 5,000 streams in the first week, and that's crazy for a band in the middle of Illinois.
Very much so. You know, and I hope it goes farther than that. So, you've released singles. Do you guys actually plan on releasing a full length album? Because I know I was talking to Shaylee from Dayshell a few
Hell yeah.
weeks ago, and he was talking about how bands nowadays don't really see it as being financially uh it's not financially sound to
Right.
actually produce a full length album because people only really go for the singles. So what are your plans from here on out?
So that's I say Shaylee's absolutely right. And I say that track of his, Letting Go, oh my god, so
I
good.
know, right?
But, no, he's hitting it on the nail, like, whenever it comes into music production, you start out with a demo, and you've probably spent money on your equipment and all your instruments and maybe even lessons to be good at music, and then after that, for us, our process is like, we'll go to our producer, who's Kevin W. Gates of Reach Audio in Springfield, Missouri. And we've been with him for like 5 years. It's really all about uh, creating a team. It's like there's five of us in the band, but there's way more than just the five of us that make this happen.
Right.
And like, so like you got producer fees, you've got mastering fees, and we get our mastering through Troy Glesner. And so all of that, it adds up. And that's just one song, you know. And so I think what changed is that in the last couple of years, like you've been able to stretch your songs so much longer and further than you used to be able to. Like most people would put out an album just so that people are consistently listening to your music, whether it is the same song or not. And now, like, you have Spotify, you have TikTok, you have all these things that like you can create these, little mini bits of content through your process and really like I think the standard right now is most people really like to push a song for about like 6 weeks and then it's on to the next one.
Right.
And so, like a lot of artists who have that established backing and like fan base and things like that, they're gonna want to push those out like every 6 weeks on the dot almost. And like that's something that we're crossing into now, like since the pandemic and everything, like
Mm.
that was something that really made us take a look at how do we approach this anymore? Like, we can't play live, and we were a crazy fucking band. We played live all the time to the point where people would be like, "Oh, like, you guys are playing out way too much," and stuff like that, and we
Yeah.
didn't know what that meant. And say but now that we don't have it or well, it's coming back, it's back, it's here, shows are going great, at least in our area, like the St. Louis area, it's things are coming back, and it's super
Yeah.
awesome. But you really notice a lot of the artists who stuck around through the pandemic, who didn't break up and stuff, evolving into that next step of content creation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like everyone has become more than just a band, a music act. We are all at this point content creators.
Yeah.
So like now, we're crossing into okay, you hear the song, but what does it's like what does the song translate into? What visuals do you get from it? And just all sorts. You could go into music video ideas, TikTok ideas, and all those ways to get people to feel relatable to what you're trying to put out there. And I think what's the best part about it is like biggest redeeming factor is that whenever you do have a passion project like a band and stuff, you really want your message to be heard and like reciprocated. Like a lot of people have sent the band messages, sent me messages on this last track about like a lot of people feeling very similar. Just so like, man, if I said anything, like, would you even believe me? Would you even fucking care? Do you get it?
Yep.
And man, I was not that I was looking to be proven right or wrong, but I was proven that people fucking understand me, and that's that's the best part about this track. like it's reinvigorated. I know me, the rest of my guys, to really start pushing out what's coming up next. And I know we talked about it a little bit last time, and there's been a little bit of change in plans here. So
Talked about a final.
yeah, yeah. So we talked about a full length, which is still in the works. But I don't think that's how we're going to approach things just next. Right now, I'll give you the lowdown. So right now we have 3 songs out, and we're gonna release an EP hopefully this spring, and it's gonna come with a couple of extra tracks that we're gonna do the old school way. It's just like they're not necessarily singles. This whole EP, I've coined it the Miracle EP, and Would You Even Believe Me has come out, and we've got just a
Is it
couple.
named after the song Miracle? Or what
Yes,
did you say?
absolutely.
Okay.
I say that, yeah, that's just kind of what happened. I think the miracle behind it was that, well, like, we didn't give up, you know, like, even through all the craziness and the unsuredness, like, we knew this is what we wanted to do. And Miracle was one of those songs too. It's just like, we weren't asking for help. We weren't saying that it was impossible, but like, Miracle was just one of those special songs to us. We loved the artwork that Andy made for us and stuff, and, like, we love that angel, and it just, like, really encompassed the entire feel, like, the monochrome kind of color style. I even freaking bleached my hair a little
I
bit,
noticed
and
that, yeah. I was
yeah,
like, "What
yeah, I
happened to
say
your hair?"
yeah, I
But I
say
like it. I
it's
like it.
thank you, I say it's a
You
little
look
birthday
very,
present.
you look very Scandinavian now.
Right, I say I've been getting
Like,
told I look like a Targaryen.
yeah, I might start calling you Legolas.
Dude, I get that so much at work now too. It's so fun. I dig it though. That's my thing.
It looks good, man. Looks good.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys, also had probably one of the biggest, um, not I wouldn't call it a setback, but I mean it can be. But you guys had one of the biggest unfortunate uh, scenarios. Right at the beginning of your career, you guys had a passing of a band member as well.
Absolutely. And say it's crazy. Like, it's been damn near close to 9 years now, you know? And say his name was Billy Dean Smith. He was our original bass player. And at one point, my mortal enemy, my rival in life and stuff. It's a funny story actually. So me and Billy, we lived in the same kind of communities. I was in Jacksonville, Illinois. He was in a smaller town called Arnsville, and we went to 2 different schools. We grew up together in a sense. Like, a lot of us in the area would kind of fall on, like, theater, like musical theater and stuff, and that's where we kind of got to express ourselves. There weren't really any places for young people who were playing, like, original music or anything like that. I don't think I was even writing original music at the time.
Mm.
But I say, so, like, me and this guy Billy, freaking, we attracted all the same girls. We played the same instruments. We kind of looked alike and shit. And I was just all like, this fucker. And then, yeah, a little bit after everybody graduated and stuff, it was like, okay, well, what's next? Everyone's going to college or starting trade schools, whatever happening. And yeah, right at 18, I was just like, I'm gonna move out. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. I'm gonna give music a try, see what's up. And so my drummer Cody had hit me up. I never met this man in my life at all. He heard about me and stuff. And he sent me a message one time and was like, "Hey, like, I've been trying to start up maybe like a little pop punky group or something like that. Don't know if you'd be interested." I left him on red for a while, like a month. And then I know I messaged him back and was just like, "You know what? Okay, like, let's try it. When can we meet up and stuff?" And I know he was at, like, a Chicago Warp Tour whenever I messaged him back, and he was just like, "That was one of the best days I've had in a long time." And then me and Billy, yeah, me and Cody got together, and we were just like, I jammed a couple things on guitar I had messed around with. He's literally the best drummer I know. I cannot shit you not. I shit you not. He's so good. And yeah, we jammed out, and we were just like, oh, we got to get some more people into the mix. So Cody ends up bringing Andy, and I'm selling some T-shirts on Facebook one day, and Billy happens to message, like, we're like haven't spoken. We weren't really friends, that type of shit.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, he hits me up for this Dead Mouse T-shirt that I had, and was like, "Oh, can I pick that up off you?" And I'm just like, "Okay, yeah, sure. Like, come on by. He's gonna give me some cash or whatever." And he actually stops by my house, and we start talking and stuff. And we even got on the topic of us being like mortal enemies and shit. And I was just like, dude, I was like, I don't think I ever had like a real reason to like not like you and stuff. And he's just like, dude, I wanted to say the same thing. I have no clue what the beef was, what was going on. And we just instantly hit it off. And I was just kind of like, hey man, like I know I was like, I know you play, I know you're doing like, are you doing anything right now? Like, do you have a project? And he's like, well, I'm working on some solo stuff, And I was just like, "Hey, that's cool. Do you wanna you wanna come play guitar in my band?" Because, like, I play guitar, but I'm probably the weakest guitar player in the band, and that's what we were doing. We were building the fucking team, and, it was so funny because he was just like, I knew this guy as, like, a very talented guitar player, lyricist, all the whole shebang, and, it really caught me off guard because he was just like, "You guys got a bass player?" And I was like, "No, but we're talking to people, like, we're gonna see who all we can get to get in on this." He's like, "I'll play bass. Let's go." He's like, "You're playing guitar, aren't you?" I was like, "I can," and he's just like, "Yeah, I'll play bass. Let's fucking go." And, yeah, everything took off from there. We had our first show in front of a taco shop, which was really awesome. The queso was bomb. And, yeah, like, I learned a lot about him in the very short amount of time that I had with him, because, like I said, we'd known each other all each other's lives, but we were really the best of friends for, like, 9 months, and that's it's just the craziest thing, Like, Billy Billy was one of many who had taken their own lives, and to me, it was probably one of the biggest I was, like, 19, like, fresh out and just getting hit with this real world shit. I remember kinda being woken up to a phone call from a friend that had let me know he had gone, and, like, 9 years later, I take it now a lot more positively. Like, uh, that was like, I always have mixed feelings when I say this, but, like, that was one of the catalysts of shit to happen that really, for the rest of us in the band, it solidified kinda, like, why we decided to keep going, why we didn't change the band name, and, like,
Right.
Billy was the one who named the band, and, like, it was just like, I now see the band as, like, this gift that was given to me by a very unprecedented friend, and, like, even back then, like, I was way more of, like, an angrier person. I had a little bit of trouble just kinda seeing the positive on the side, and that dude taught me everything. That dude taught me how to accept myself, accept my flaws, my anger and stuff, and I just had a complete 180 of personality and just, like, what I wanted out of life after meeting this guy. And then, once he passed, like, it just seemed like at that point, it was almost like our duty to continue, and so because I remember the day that it was me, Cody, and Andy. We all sat down for dinner, like day of, like nobody felt like eating, but we needed to just sit down and talk. And we were just like, okay, like, what are we gonna do? And I'm glad we didn't stop, because like it, to this day, we still talk about it. We still say his name. We keep him alive, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I get a lot of, I get a lot of good feeling out of it because I know that I'm able to carry on something that he taught me, and hopefully get like, for the love of God, hopefully I can instill that same kind of passion and love for life that he gave me
Yeah.
into other people.
And carrying on as he would have wanted you to.
Yeah, I say, here's a cool one. So, me and my drummer and Billy, we all have this tattoo. This is a dream catcher that Billy had. It is uh same exact design, same exact location as him. I've got which side is it? I say I've got his initials right here. And
Oh, okay.
I say Cody has it too. Andy still needs to get his, but tattoos, they expensive.
I got
But
mine, but I can't say mine is as cool as yours is.
what are you talking about? That's fucking solid. I've got a lot of black and white tattoos. I think this has a little bit of color, and then I have Sonic the Hedgehog on the back of my leg, so that's blue. I
We're
say,
big fans of tattoos over here at the asylum. So if
damn
you
right.
got anywhere you could show.
I
But
say I'm even freaking committed. Like freaking, I've got that band logo on my chest
there we
and
go.
stuff, like, right over the heart for the cheesiness of it.
The cheesiness of it. God, you're gonna set a lot of people off on this interview who have a lactose intolerance. But there's something I actually wanted to talk to you about earlier when you said that bands nowadays are actually evolving, just, not just, not within the music industry, but they're going beyond that. I was talking with Vincent from Lunar Code a few weeks ago, and do you know who they are? Are you familiar with Lunar Code or?
I've heard the name before. I think Andy and Dylan have taken a listen.
Yeah, I was talking to him, and they, as far as I know, they haven't toured, but they're known for their music videos and winning awards in like film festivals.
Neat.
So, yeah, when you said that, that brought that to mind. I was like, yeah, you're right. Bands nowadays are actually they're evolving past the music industry and actually, beginning to spread themselves out into other industries.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely. Like even some of the bands that are coming up through TikTok nowadays and stuff. One that I frequent very much is a band called Honey Revenge, and they're
mm,
based out of California, and only have a few singles out, but some of the singles have hit like 1 million streams, and like, but I have them on Facebook, and they only have like a couple of followers, and it's
right,
crazy just how like the veil of the fucking music industry has been torn the fuck down. Like now there's so much transparency when it comes to content creation, and just like, you'll be scrolling through TikToks, and just like, here's 3 tips on how to make your live show better. Here's 3 tips on how to make your TikTok better. Stuff like that. People
right,
are more willing to give out that information because I think that there is this there's this collective mindset of wanting those people to succeed. You want anyone who wants to give it a shot, please do. It's like life is so short. Don't die with a song inside of you. And that's one of my biggest motivators. I'm just like, every single bit of music I'll ever think of will be out of my head by the time I'm out of here. And like for the future, a lot of bands are going to be able to get that exposure almost as if I relate it to, like, I wish I had somebody like that when I was getting started. to really show me the ropes and like teach me the etiquette and how to just be like confident in yourself. And that's what's
Yeah.
cool about the next generation of like rock music, any kind of music, really, is that like the younger artists have so much confidence in themselves, and I love that about them. Like Honey Revenge, I'm actually going to go check them out in March. I've been talking back and forth with them. I'm really excited to meet them in person and stuff, and just yeah, talk shop, see like what the difference is, because we've been doing this for like 8 9 years, obviously, like mixing that in with real life and stuff. I'm like, I've got a big family. Andy and Doug have kids, and like Cody and Dylan, that we all have families. We've just been in the middle of Illinois just trying to make something happen, like it is in other places too, like I tend to notice that like a lot of the bigger tour packages, like artists and whoever alike, they don't seem to stop in the Midwest, you know, but there's a reason for that. And it's because I don't think that like we're getting there. We're getting there, and it's awesome. Like this year has already looked great, and we're only like 2 months in. But
Right.
like the Midwest never really had anywhere, like I said, for like artists to play their original music, for places where people wanted to hear that. I know where I'm from, it's either you have a DJ at a bar or you're a country cover band, which no hate. Like I love being able to take my parents out, get a good country band going and stuff, have a few drinks. Like it's a good time. It's awesome. And like the capital here in Illinois, Springfield, is starting to evolve. Like, the capital isn't that much bigger than my hometown, but at the same time, people are starting to recognize we're getting radio play at like a radio station I've listened to since I was like 10, you know. I'm 27 now. I'm just like, that's wild. That's literally just dream come true right there. And no, I
And we
think
put you on at the asylum all the time. Not maybe not all the time, but I put you on ecstasy radio all the time as well. So
hell
we were
yeah.
able to hear you. You guys are making so much noise. I was able to hear you. So
Thank you. And say that's what it's all about, man. And no, I'm glad we can sit down and just have a good chat about it too. Like I feel like there's not a lot of time in our days, if days were 48 hours instead of 24 hours, gosh, I'd have all the time in the world.
right. Uh, I've always enjoyed talking to you. Always have. So what are your plans now? Now that your single's out, what are your plans for this year? What do you guys plan on doing? Do you guys plan on doing any touring or playing festivals? Festival season is getting ready to kick off.
Yeah, so I say there hasn't been much released just yet or anything like that, but there's a bigger festival coming up that we're signed up to play. I'm not sure if I'm at liberty to say yet, just just right now, but yeah, it's going to be the most traveling we've done as a band. It's going to be the furthest we've gone. And as for touring, we've got a van. We've got a van. So we've got that part out of the way, and we're
Texas a tour
looking. Yeah, basically, yeah.
bus.
And say just a big old like 15 passenger van, old school shit.
There you go.
And I say we're that's the next step, is just looking into the touring stops and seeing who's interested, and potentially a booking agent, something like that. But a lot of the focus for this next year is just kind of getting our minds right. And most bands, if you're doing it in a certain way, like we're an LLC as well, we're
Mm.
small business and stuff. So like not only is our community kind of evolving towards that, like we live like it's me, Andy, and Dylan, like who we all talked to last time. And we all live together. We cut down expenses just so that our extra cash can go towards band stuff, can go towards content creation, whatever, advertisements, all that fun junk. But a lot of it has been really cool because like the community of like 1,400, not very big at all, but the community that we have is starting to recognize the validity of the online space. And like uh, our town is very old, like an older community and stuff. So like now that they're learning that like, oh, you can make money on Facebook, oh, you can make money on TikTok, like they're just like, okay, yeah. So we the town just got a grant passed to start getting us fiber internet and stuff. So oh my gosh, we're dying out here, man. It's like 5 megabytes per second download. It's abysmal.
Oh God, it's the apocalypse. It looks like The
Abs-
Walking Dead.
Absolutely.
You ever seen that episode of South Park where they don't have any internet and it's like the end of the world?
Oh yeah,
Like,
like yeah, and like
yeah,
Stan's dad is in the fucking tent
yeah,
like,
yeah,
getting his like
yeah.
what however long they were allotted for internet. Didn't they end up just having to like unplug and replug the fucking server?
Pretty much, yeah. It
It
was like a
was
huge
fine.
router or something like that. Yeah, what you're
Uh,
describing kind of reminds me of that.
oh yeah, absolutely. I say freaking but like yeah, no, so like once that starts getting going and stuff, we're right next to City Hall, so we're like we get it as soon as it gets here. So like we have a lot of plans for a lot more live stream content. I used to stream on Twitch, I used to do that and I'd play our music in the background, I'd play video games that I liked and just keep people up to date with what we were up to and stuff. And since moving out here, like, that's something I wasn't able to do when I got here, and I just kind of had to accept that. And because I feel like I'm naturally one of those content creators and stuff. I love doing that. I love working in like Premiere Pro and stuff. Uh, this single came out, and there will be a music video coming, uh, which brings me into yeah, just like getting our bearings back is kind of what this year is, what the theme of this year for Inner Outlines is like we are kind of coming back into how we did it before back in our EP, It's Not Safe Here. And a lot of that was DIY work and, uh, working with new people and stuff. Like, I know a music video we did for It's Not Safe Here, we did with a good friend of ours, Freddie D'Angelo, and yeah, very awesome videographer. He knows what the heck he's doing, even taught me some stuff. So now it's really just like kind of a no excuses. We have the technology, but yeah, the music video is something I'm working on. We're working on getting this whole EP package put together for everybody. We want to do something a little more personal and in depth. Like we want to throw some stickers in there. We want to throw like some personal cards in there, and we're just kind of getting all of the funding ready for that. And we should hopefully have a release date coming soon.
Very nice. And do you plan on putting any new songs on the EP, or is it just going to be ones that you released prior?
There'll be. I'll give it away. There'll be two
Sure.
more. And say
Okay.
we've got these 3 singles, and then the EP is gonna come out with 2 more on that. It's gonna be a 5-song EP, and, we are already in the works of a full length coming out after, and but, like, we just like we talked about last time, it's like we were gung ho about a full length and stuff, but then we ended up talking to our producer and our label, and we're just like, well, the songs that we're writing now don't really match up with kind of, the COVID tracks, if you will. Like, this EP was really something that we wrote while we weren't playing out and, you know, just the unsuredness of the world and stuff. And,
Right.
but it's cool because, like, the Miracle EP, every song kinda touches on a little bit of something like that, "Would You Even Believe Me" is one of those songs about, like,
Yeah.
speaking up, whether it's worth it or not. Miracle was more something along the lines of like it's my own fault, you know? And just it's my
Yeah.
own fault. I don't need help. I just need to dig myself out of this. And then Undone was my big fucking anxiety track, you know?
Yeah, we
And
talked about that one.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and say Undone was a big one for me personally, just because like I had just recently kind of figured out like my own kind of triggers on that and like what makes me tick and stuff. And each song has gotten such like a good response out of the people that we fucking know and love and stuff. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
people, there's a lot of people like you, Doc, and friggin' just so many people. We don't get a lot of time in the day to just like sit down and kind of really talk about like what goes on in the back, what's the thought process behind it. But it's really cool because at the same time, whenever I do get those responses from people, I'm just like, yeah, like they get it,
Yeah.
and it keeps me writing in the style that I do. Like I've always written in a style. I like if I one word it, it's honesty. Like honesty is the biggest cornerstone of all the lyrics of Inner Outlines, and each song kind of has a little bit of a representation of things in my own life, because I'm just like, uh, the best way to explain it, I would say, is that I had a conversation with an ex-girlfriend of mine one time, and she would kind of ask me, she'd be like, why do you write like so depressing, like so darker and stuff? And I'm just like, well, I don't think it's that dark. And but like one of her favorite artists was like Taylor Swift, and I was like, Taylor Swift, okay, you think every single one of those songs is true? And it's just like, well, I know for she's like, I know for a fact they're not true. And I'm just like, and that's the difference, you know? It's like whether they tell you or not. And what I am telling you is that this is real shit and that I am a real person, and just hoping somebody gets that. And like, you know, the connection is made, the established connection is made to continue doing this and giving people something to look forward to, and maybe a little bit more of a grasp of their own understanding of their own emotions and feelings and things that they're dealing with.
Something they
Because
can relate to. Yeah.
absolutely, like, my biggest goal in songwriting is to, one, explain the feeling, and two, hopefully give people the knowledge to be able to to think a little bit easier on it, and hopefully not have to go through the mental gymnastics and turmoil that I've put my own self through in my own life. And we have a lot of younger fans too, and my biggest hope for them is that we're able to just be that kind of inspiration for them to maybe pick up the torch one day, you know which is really cool because, like, me and Andy, we just went to a local showcase last night and stuff, and it's like it's crazy too, it's like the pandemic stopped and then, like, local shows started happening again, and it's just like, whenever you look at some of the local bills now, a couple of years later, you're just like, "Well, who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that?" And, no, we went out to the showcase last night, and man, like, the younger bands that are starting to pop up have gumption.
Oh
They've
yeah.
got something, like, there was one band in particular last night. They're from our area in Springfield. They're called Mild Cartoon Violence,
Yeah.
and they killed it. I was just like, I had known one of the members for a while, and they had been in a couple projects, but it was like this time I saw them. We go to a place called Pops in Sauget. It's like right out of St. Louis and stuff. We've played there loads of times and stuff. And just to see like a younger band fucking kill it. on that same stage that I've played for years. I'm just like, I'm like, the future's all right. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for everybody that's coming up. I just hope that everybody who is coming up is willing to kind of get into that mindset of whenever you do have a local scene like that, or just a genre scene in general, it's really all about just lifting each other up. Whoever succeeds, you appreciate them and you tell them congratulations, and at the same time, when you succeed, you let them know you didn't do it by yourself,
Right.
you know
Like a
and
team
that's
effort.
yeah, exactly, and I'm just like, I just wanna be a part of the team. I don't care where I'm at, If it's
Right.
my band getting some fucking going, if it's another band getting something fucking going, I just wanna be a part of it, It's like, it's my whole life. Why wouldn't I be?
Yeah. I can relate to that as well, and it's something that I'm very excited to hear that you tell me about because I actually grew up in Virginia. I'm not from Tennessee, and I attended college in a city called Fredericksburg, and I
Okay.
was doing music there, and it seemed like the bands were at each other's throats. Like one was trying to one up the other one.
Yeah,
Like, oh, they're doing this over here now. It just seemed too competitive. Like nobody was really working together to try to put each other on top. So
right, and I definitely relate to that too. I don't think there's anybody who's in the industry that can say that they've never had that kind of mindset, you know? There were
yeah,
times there were times whenever the band was just starting where, we felt cock of the walk. We were like, "Hey," like, "We're kinda cool," that type of shit, and,
yeah,
like, uh, it took something like a pandemic to erase that, It was just one of those, all this could be taken away in a day, so don't you dare take it for granted, and don't you dare, like, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, take advantage of it, Like, there's a lot of people who I think can be very vain. Like, music is a big it can be a big vanity project, A lot of it is, like any kind of creative expression has a touch of vanity within it, and, like, as long as you can keep, like, your core values first and foremost, like, it's okay to be confident. It's okay to be like, "Yeah, like, I'm the shit. I just pulled something off that, like, people wish they could be doing." There are people who wish they were in my position, and I try to remember that all the time and do them justice at the same time.
yeah,
'Cause I'm like, I wanna be able to get to a point where our scene even kinda upgrades a bit and more artists start to show and stuff. 'Cause, I was even talking about this just the other day too, is like, we're on Illinois, we're on one side of the river, and then you have St. Louis, Missouri stuff. That's the whole other side of the river. There's this weird difference
mm,
in creativity. So, on the Illinois side, you have a bunch of very talented people who have nowhere to play, nowhere to showcase themselves and stuff, and let alone, like, when you don't have that, it's really hard to find a group of people, like, specifically for bands, like, not solo projects, not anything like that, for bands and stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's harder in Illinois to find people who are willing to basically give up a quarter of their life to dedicate to something like that, because there's just
mhm,
not much to play out and stuff. And then you have the other side of the river with St. Louis, and I feel that there's so much opportunity. There's a lot of bands, there's places to play, but, at the same time, like, I think what we're trying to learn over there is the camaraderie, you know?
yeah,
And it's like a lot of these, local shows and stuff like that, like, they're great excuse me, they're a great way to get yourself some exposure and stuff like that. But to really pull off like a great show, like one where everyone wants to be there, there's none of that stupid battle of the bands tension type
Yeah,
shit, you know. Uh, it all comes down to the business of it too,
yeah,
like it takes somebody spearheading, let's say just like one event, you've got, let's say like you got 3 4 bands in the area. They're fucking kick ass, each and every one of them in their own right, but they never play together. What's up with that? you know it just kind of seems like a no-brainer too. Like, as long as we support each other, mix the crowds, mix your fan bases, like, because then you get to a point where you have one person put on a playlist and they hear a song from each one of those bands and stuff, and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, that person is a godsend to people like us."
people share playlists as well. So they'll take that away from, like, if you were to play a show with several other bands, and then just one person, puts all of those bands in their playlist. People share their playlists with other
Yep.
people. That gives not only yourselves exposure, but everybody else that you just played with. You know,
Absolutely. I say, and a lot's transferring over into like mini little TikTok shows. I don't know if you've ever heard of something called The Bun, but
I think I've heard of that. Yeah,
I say, yeah, there's just this one guy on TikTok who he has a Discord. He lets bands submit their music, and it's mainly for bands who have like that low number of Spotify monthly listeners. And he really sheds a really cool way, or like a really cool light on them. He's got a little intro. He's just like, hey, like, coming in with only like 548 monthly listeners. It's these guys from this place, and brought to you by The Bun. Enjoy. And like, he's got like a quick little photo montage of their pictures while their music is
mhm.
playing. And I think that guy's even starting up his own radio station too. And I'm just like, that's so
Really,
cool. Like, TikTok is invigorating people to try these different ways of making a living, let alone the support of just music and stuff, but just like the change. Me and Andy were just talking about it. It's just like we feel that a lot of life is about, we're in the technologic era and stuff. And I think now is where we're starting to cross over into like the creative era. And
yeah,
like a lot of people are going to feel more inclined to share that vision in their head. And it's like, you can have a great idea and you could be like so excited, so ADHD, talking it up to your guitar player upstairs, and he has no clue what the fuck you're talking about until you show him something. TikTok and all these other platforms are giving creators the tools to better express themselves, better define themselves and their music and their art. And when it comes to discoverability, people want to feel like they discovered that. It's just like, oh, I
yeah.
found something super interesting that only I know about, or like that my friends would really like, and stuff like that. And oh, I feel like I just talked down like 5 different avenues there.
Well, I enjoy talking with you, man. I really do.
Hell
One
yeah,
thing that
same here.
one thing that you mentioned earlier was you have noticed a certain confidence and energy in the new music scene. And I've seen that as well, being that I watch band interviews all the time. And I've noticed that a lot of the older bands, they just seem like when they talk, sometimes they seem a little burnt out. Like
I can
maybe
feel that.
maybe not burnt out, but just maybe a little bit more pessimistic. I was watching interview a few days ago, and I'm not going to mention who the band was because I don't
Fair
want to
enough.
portray them in a negative light. But they were just saying, rock doesn't sell anymore, and they were just kind of like, well, if this album doesn't sell well, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'll continue on or whatnot. And it's really good to see that confidence and that energy get, be reintroduced back into the music scene with bands like yourselves and others that are alongside you. So to me, it's like a refreshing, breath of fresh air.
Absolutely. And I say, like I said about the younger bands and stuff, like, they definitely still have so much to learn, but
Yeah.
at the same time, they're starting off on the right foot, and, for even bands like us, we're just a tad bit older, and, like, we
Yeah.
have bands that we look up to who are just a tad bit older than we are,
Yeah.
and they're still going. We're approaching our 30s and stuff, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna slow down. Why? Because people are starting to recognize that, like, life's just about more things than just being financially successful, or, like, having having the house, having the kids, having the things like that, that define success, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like, a lot of these newer generation artists are ready to take that plunge, and I think they just have a lot of confidence. I think a lot of it has to do, uh, with one, the indomitable human spirit, and two, I'm gonna say anime, honestly. Like, you're telling me
Who?
anime, straight
Anime.
up.
Anime. You
Yeah,
said
just straight up.
anime. I was like, who's anime? I've never heard of
Oh,
that.
hell, freaking lipstick
Anime.
together. Freaking no, like, you're watching anime, like, one of my favorite animes is Naruto. I love Naruto so much, and, just the confidence that Naruto has to, like, follow his dreams and to make them a reality, like, a lot of our youth got exposed to that, and I think that's a good thing, because, like, sometimes you have to have that cartoonish confidence in yourself to be able to keep going, and, like,
Yeah.
it honestly makes it kinda, like I said, it makes it kinda cheesy, but at the same time, like, people love it. People love to be confident in themselves and in each other, and
Hmm.
it's just a matter of finding those ways that really bring that out of people, and,
Yeah.
like, some people would translate into, like, "Oh, you gotta come up with content that makes people uh, react and comment and stuff like that." I'm like, "No." Like, yes, but no. You wanna be able to bring out somebody else's, like, true self, like, inner self. You wanna, like,
Honesty.
and
100%.
it's like it's cool because, like, you and I are on that same wavelength. We're able to sit down and just be like, "Oh, like, these are our passion projects," and
Yeah.
I could go on for days talking about just everything that I've noticed in my time in music and stuff. Like, I'm the youngest in the band, and, like, my guys have been in multiple projects before my time, and, like, hearing their stories of how it used to be my era, and now there's a there's something here, it's the present, it's the future. We're still in there, but it's just like our era was more along the lines of, like, the last resurgence that we had, almost. Like, we started the band in about 2014 and stuff. So if you can remember all the acts that were around between
Yep.
2014 and now, I think that just kind of became a certain type of musical era that kinda got things right, got things wrong, and then you have, and I really relate it to sound. Sound is the easiest thing to see change in. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of your trending bands now, like, Bad Omens, Sleep Token, um, and then, like, all these other pop rock acts coming up, like Honey Revenge, to name a few, like, The Home Team, Broadside, and, all these other bands that are still freaking kicking even at this point, like, on top of Controversy, like Falling in Reverse
Hmm.
and, MGK, those kinda thing, but, like, it was it's an era of something is happening here, and Andy best put it, like, there is a type of energy that seems familiar, but like there's something, for lack of a better term, I'm gonna say like futuristic about it. Like the sound in rock is definitely evolving and changing, and the people who are going to either one, change it even more, or two, kind of like hone in on those elements and incorporate it into their new sound, you know? Because
Yeah.
like music is timeless. Like, I have songs that are damn near 5, 6 years old now, and someone could still be hearing it for the first time.
Yeah.
And that's the one mindset that I think is the trickiest to kinda get in, because like, you're always thinking about the future, but it's just like, at the same time, like, we kinda have plans for, we've got the EP coming out. After that, we're gonna have, we're working on the full length. I wanna say we wanna get like 10 songs, maybe more, in a full length. Right now, we have 3. We have 3 done, and we've been listening to them on repeat, not showing anybody, and we're just like but, even
You're
in
talking about
then,
new ones, right? Or ones,
the new ones.
the
So
new
we
ones.
have new
Okay.
ones, but then behind them, we have new.
New. Okay. It's a new
And,
term I'm getting familiar familiarize myself with. The
yeah,
new.
right, right, and say, "No, I have to send you some stuff, it'll be fun."
Okay.
But, in December, like, December of this year, it will be 5 years of our full length perspective.
Mhm.
So, like, back in that back in that time period, whenever we were making perspective and stuff, like,
Yeah.
obviously, we didn't have as much going on as we do now. Like, we're pumping out lyric videos, we're working on videos, doing more interviews, playlisting, all that fun junk, and it's a chance for us, and this is what I mean about music being timeless, is like, you know, um, it'll be 5 years of perspective, and in December, we kinda get a chance to go back and do a couple of those content ideas that we weren't capable of back then now. So, like, I plan to go back and do some cooler lyric videos for those songs that meant a lot to us, and, we even have a little bit of a YouTube series called the Insider Sessions, and that's
Mhm.
where we sit down and we just talk a little bit about each of the singles that have been coming out and what they mean to us, and like, kinda how I'm talking with you about "Would You Even Believe Me" today, and, being able to go back to perspective after playing these songs out for, I wanna say 5 years, but COVID, so let's say 3 years,
Okay.
and, yeah, being able to go back and talk about those in a way that we didn't necessarily do the first time around is,
Right.
like, I'm excited for it. It's really gonna be fun. Like, I have a lot of songs from perspective that, just kinda shaped who I am now, and I know a lot of people too who just love, like, one of our biggest tracks is a song called "Reincarnate" off of that album, and, just to be able to go back and further define what that song actually meant in the time writing it and stuff, I think is gonna be really interesting for our followers, and, even for ourselves. We may learn a little bit more about ourselves in the process of it. I
You
swear to God.
probably will. Yeah,
Yeah,
because music, I always see music as like a sonic diary, and you're going back to that
absolutely.
diary, reading, reading pages that you wrote, you know, years ago, and just seeing where you were at then. So you probably will learn a little bit more about yourselves and where you came from if you were to revisit those older tracks.
Yeah, and say, and hope like, we've even got we've gotten access lately to a lot of different spaces for, like, shooting videos. Andy runs a photography business, so he shoots headshots for businesses or, like, local events, stuff like that, and we've just been given access to all these rooms, all these nice looking rooms, and we're just like, "Well, we gotta do something. We gotta shoot something here. We gotta talk about something, right?" And,
Right.
yeah, like, we've got basically musically and content wise, I think we've got like the next year and a half, 2 years booked for ourselves. And it's just a matter of, like you said, it's like it's about time to hit the road soon and start really taking this to the next level, taking it that much more seriously.
I hope you guys do. I really do, and I'm really excited for what you guys do in the future. I really do.
Hell
I
yeah.
really am very excited for you. I really am, and if your newest single is anything to gauge where you guys are going and what you guys are capable of, that just makes me that much more excited for you, for what you guys are gonna cook up in the future and bring out for us.
Fuck, man. And like it means a lot. It really does. Like I tell you what, like I say, I won't turn my camera. My room's messy, but been doing this for a long time. I'm in a square room in a basement, sitting on my computer, and probably when we get off of here, I'll be getting right back to work on everything, and it's just like all this work is gonna pay off, and I just want future artists too to know that like the work pays off. You just gotta fucking stay diligent.
Mhm. Yep. It's exactly the way it is with radio as well.
Absolutely. I say, yeah, when it hits that time, we're not too far from Tennessee. We're gonna make our way out there.
Wait, I hope you do, and when you do, you better let me know. You've got my number.
I was just saying,
So,
yeah, you're the first person I'm gonna let know.
yeah, and, when you do, I'll shoot you back a text message letting you know that, "Hey, we'll be there." So, hey, we can actually meet, person to person,
Absolutely. Nah, that'll be great. That'll be the
I
day.
love it. Alright, that would be the day, wouldn't it?
Sooner rather
Right?
than later, definitely.
Yeah, sooner rather than later. So, it's getting about the hour mark, so I think I'm gonna let you go and get out of here. And I'm sure you have other things planned for your day. But Matt, it has been such a blessing to talk to you and to hear from you again. And
Same here,
hope
dog.
I hope we do get to talk again soon.
Absolutely, yeah, hit me up.
Definitely, definitely will. All right, man. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, dude.
Good luck, man.